going to be in the new Black Panther movie, World of Wakanda.
How can you have a World of Wakanda with a black girl from Chicago? They ought to just call it World of WACKANDA because it's going to be whack because I'm not going to be in the movie. That's right, Kevin Feige. Your movie is whack. Whack, whack, whack without the Black Panther. You should not have made this movie. You should not have made it.
Coming to paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Cancel Vacation. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a social justice social media mob looking to cancel her in this all-new E-Steam series adventure. Pre-order E-Steam Cancel Vacation on Amazon.com today.
Recently, it was announced one of Marvel's most reviled characters would be making her first appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, your RiRi Williams, aka IronHeart, is not a popular character in Marvel Comics and is reviled by comic fans. However, your Kevin Feige is going to make her first appearance in Black Panther 2, World of Wakanda. Now, it looks like to me that your RiRi Williams, aka Ironheart, is being brought in to Black Panther 2, World of Wakanda to replace Shuri, who was played by Letitia Wright, who seems to have been kicked off of the film due to her Christian beliefs. And that's what makes this whole Black Panther 2 World of Wakanda a very messed up film, because after the passing of Chadwick Boseman, who played T'Challa in the first Black Panther, it seems like there are no lead characters to guide Black Panther 2. Now, how can you call this Black Panther 2 World of Wakanda when you are featuring your Michael B. Jordan Killmonger, who's from Los Angeles, and your RiRi Williams, who is from Chicago? That's the critical question I want to ask your Kevin Feige, because it doesn't seem like these two characters fit organically into your MCU. I mean, how do you get two Americans from Los Angeles and Chicago and put them in a Black Panther movie and call it World of Wakanda? And how can you call it Black Panther when Black Panther isn't featured in his own movie? And that's another critical question I want to ask Kevin Feige, because the more and more it's looking like your Black Panther 2 is looking like an unmitigated disaster. And the reason why I say it's looking like an unmitigated disaster is because your Kevin Feige could have easily mitigated this disaster by just saying we are going to retire the Black Panther franchise after the passing of Chadwick Boseman, and we are going to honor his memory by protecting his signature role by ending this franchise and letting it go. And this would have been a perfect end for the Black Panther franchise, because as it stands right now, the MCU for many comic fans ended with Avengers Endgame, and it would have been a perfect period to end the story. Unfortunately, with the announcement of Black Panther 2 back in 2018, after the blockbuster success of Black Panther, Disney has spent hundreds of millions of dollars to develop this film. Unfortunately, after the passing of Chadwick Boseman, all that money is still on the table, and your Disney looking like Warner Brothers after Michelle Pfeiffer walked away from the Catwoman spin-off movie needs to spend that money that was greenlit for production, and they're looking to just cast anyone in that role get the movie produced. Unfortunately, what's going to happen is this may have a negative impact on African American fantasy and science fiction films. And the reason why it may have a negative impact on African American and science fiction films is that if Black Panther 2 World of Wakanda flops, then your Disney will sit there and say, look at this World of Wakanda, it failed, so we can't go out here and make any other African American fantasy or science fiction film. So I can see how passively they are going out here and greenlighting this World of Wakanda to go out here and be produced, but then use that as a reason to deny other black filmmakers and creators an opportunity to make black fantasy and science fiction films with Disney, because compounded with the failure of Ava DuVernay's film, they would use this to go out here and make the excuse that there is no market for black fantasy or black science fiction films, and prevent black creators from being able to access the entertainment industry and tell different stories about the black experience. So I see what's going on here with World of Wakanda, and World of WACKANDA is what it's looking like, because RiRi Williams is not a popular character in as related to comic fans, and she's not a very good character as related to development, because after reading several issues of IronHeart, I can tell you that the RiRi Williams character suffers from many character development structural issues, such as not really getting a good personality, a good voice, and is not a very compelling character. And many Iron Man fans don't like her, and many more in the MCU probably won't like her, because many comic fans are still grieving the passing of Tony Stark. And many of comic fans, they really don't like the direction that the MCU is going in. That's why some are calling it the MSHE-U. And they're saying that they're not getting the kind of stories that they got before with the first 3 phases. And with this phase 4, it's looking like we're getting more social justice and identity politics over well-crafted storytelling taken straight from the comics. So this direction that your Kevin Feige is going in is an extremely troubling one. And this decision to go out here and push this movie without the 2 lead actors is not a very smart one, as I see it. And after the failure of Black Widow, the possible failure of Shang-Chi, which is not being advertised right now, just a couple of weeks before it opens, and the definite failure, I believe, of Eternals, your Black Panther World of WACKANDA could be the whack movie that makes people sour on Marvel movies, if they have not soured on them after the Eternals, because this World of WACKANDA, as I saw it, should never have been made. This was, again, a cash grab for producers that is going to affect black fantasy and black science fiction genre and prevent us from seeing black fantasy and black science fiction movies being made because of the failures of this movie and A Wrinkle in Time. And I would hate to see that happen, because I see so many great black creators out here crafting fantastic stories, and I'd like to see more of those stories get made, because there's a lot better material out there than what is being produced at the MCU. But with this Ironheart, I just see this whole thing of bringing her in. They're trying to bring her in to replace Tony Stark, and that failed in the comic world, and I believe it will fail in the MCU, because she's just not a very well-developed character, and there are a lot of issues with this character, because even though she's 15 years old, I doubt she would have the ability to be a genius on the level of Tony Stark. I mean, Tony Stark had to develop over time and develop his skills. Same thing with Reed Richards organically. And usually when a teenager is out here, they are a little bit more awkward and emotional. And this is something I explored with the Eaststeam character, Princess Eaststeam, in The Sands of Time. She was a genius, and I tried to show that as a teenager, yes, you have this knowledge, but you just don't have the coordination. So that's one of the things that turns people off about RiRi Williams, is that she's presented as an arrogant know-it-all. And if you have an arrogant know-it-all with the Killmonger character, you're not going to really have a good story or anything compelling about it. And it doesn't really flow into your Namor, who's supposed to be rumored to be a part of Black Panther 2. So when I look at this whole Black Panther World of WACKANDA, it really is looking like one of the worst superhero movies to be made. I mean, Ryan Coogler has been scrambling to write this screenplay after Chadwick's passing, but I don't really see how you're going to be able to put together a solid story organically. And again, that's why I said the franchise needed to be retired, because the story had already been told with Avengers Endgame, and I would rather have one good Black Panther movie than have a bad one tarnish everything that your Ryan Coogler and Chadwick Boseman put together in Black Panther. But your Disney, desperate for dollars and looking to make a fast buck, is about to learn the hard lesson of get woke and go broke. And the reason why they're going to learn this is because they're going to shoehorn a bunch of characters in that don't really fit the story, and they're going to make a complete mess of the Black Panther, and they're going to make a major mess of the MCU that's going to get worse over time. And I really, again, believe Phase 4 may be the final phase of the MCU. Now, if you want to try some of my action-packed African-American fantasy fiction, like East Theme, The Sands of Time, the East Theme series, the ISIS series, the John Haynes series, or books like The Temptation of John Haynes or the Spinsterella trilogy, you can find all of that action-packed African-American fantasy fiction on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find a lot of it on Smashwords, Barnes & Noble, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, and my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers. ISIS, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door takes on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed, all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess featuring a bonus pin-up and the other 2 books in the Cyber Goddess saga at online bookstores everywhere today.